Hey, Jim Bob, obviously the score was a big part of it on Sunday, but people are just sort of surprised to see 55 passes in a game versus 17 runs. And just I was curious if you could kind of lay out just what some of the challenges were of getting that run game going, both in terms of the amount that you used it and the efficiency of it, because obviously you guys had run so well coming into that game.
Yeah, every game ends up a little bit different in this league. Sort of how it shakes out situationally. Obviously, we ended up behind a little more than we wanted to be, and a little earlier than we would ever want to be. I think that certainly factored into the numbers a little bit. But give credit, a lot of credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars defense and their plan coming in. They did a great job, sort of making the numbers wrong in the run game, having that extra body down in the box, which encouraged an extra pass or two along the way as well. So credit goes to them for having a good plan, and we found ourselves in a little bit of a hole a little bit sooner than we wanted to be, and situationally you have to go play the game to win the game when you're in that game. So we're not shooting for 55 passes in any game, but at the end of the day, we're out there trying to win the game and trying to do what's best in that environment on that day to give us a chance to do that, and that's what we thought Sunday.
James.
Jim Bob, Ryan Kelly, JT, they were saying they were in base defense pretty much the entire game, making it obviously tough to run the ball. So how do you offset that when they're showing their hand, they're showing what they want to do and what they'll allow for you to do or what they'll get willing to give up, and I guess trying to counteract that.
Yeah, every sort of every defensive sort of strategy has a counter, has a way to offset that. That was partially something that we were trying to do in that game. Those guys were staying base. They really didn't care what personnel grouping we put out there a lot of times, or what maybe the down and distance was, or even the situation, right? You don't see a lot of base 3-4 defense in 2-minute football, but there it was, so they were playing a different brand of ball. They did a good job of countering maybe some of their previous coverage tendencies, and just sort of did a good job with a change up on us, and then it's on us to adjust back. And by the time we were adjusting back, we were in a little bit of a hole, and just weren't able to get back into that thing. So, like I said, credit goes to the Jaguars for a good plan, and one in this league, when you see a plan like that and that has success, we got to be ready for it every week. So it's something that we have to sort of make sure we've got our plan laid out for, so we give our guys the best chance to win, and sort of stay in those games a little earlier, so it doesn't get to the situation where it got the other day, where we weren't throwing the ball 55 times.
One quick follow-up. Is part of that key just a couple throws, keep them honest, or how do you view it from an offensive coordinator perspective?
Well, you know what? It's an interesting question. There's a common thought is like, gosh, they're going to go a little bigger on defense maybe than we are on offense. So the answer to that is, gosh, we'll just throw it. We'll throw it all the time, But defenses are smart too. Sometimes they'll go bigger than you, and then they play certain coverages where maybe they drop an extra guy. They drop out extra bodies underneath. So it's a balancing act of, okay, are they going a bigger personnel group than us? Is that a true sort of, I'll just use sort of generic numbers here. Let's say a team's a cover 3 team. That's kind of the hot coverage in the league, at least a few years ago, right? They play cover 3 every down. If they go base, do they stay cover 3, or does all of a sudden base you look up and it's cover 2 and it's cover 4 and they're dropping 8? These defensive coordinators are smart, right? They try to trick you sometimes into thinking, gosh, they're putting all these huge bodies in there. Gotta throw the ball, throw them out of it, and then they drop all of them. So it's an ongoing battle within those guys, and they set their tendencies, and then they counter them just like we will on offense. So there's a few ways to take advantage of that particular defensive adjustment, and a couple of those we saw in the game, and a couple more we'll probably see moving forward.
JJ?
Hey, Jim Bob, you've had Blake Freeland and Wesley French start a combined 5 games.
this year. I guess, like, do opposing defenses, when they see a backup come in, especially a guy who doesn't have experience, do they usually try to like get after those guys? And kind of with that, what have you seen out of Blake and Wesley in those games?
I would say that, in this league, we're very aware of our opponents, right? We're trying to be, as an offensive staff, an offensive team, aware of who's across the ball from us, who's on the other side of the ball. I'm sure they're doing the same thing. So when you bring in a young player, or you bring in someone that's maybe not a long time starter, just getting their first or second or third start, sometimes defenses do try to align in certain ways to get a one-on-one with that guy, to see kind of what he's got. That could be in pass protection, that could be in the run game. And Wesley and Blake have gotten their share of that. That's the NFL fun for an offensive lineman. You're going to get matched up on some pretty good players sometime. They're going to try you out. All in all, I think those guys have done a heck of a job, man, hanging in there, fighting, scratching, clawing. The O-line as a whole has been, I think, playing really good football. So those guys have stepped in. It's been said too many times in this league, sometimes it's next man up, right? Sometimes that next man's got to be up. Gosh, you're up for a game, you're up for 2 games, you never know in this league. So those guys are fighting out there to play good ball. Not always 100%, but gosh, they're giving all their effort. They're fighting, scratching, clawing, and in some issues, really, or in some instances, I should say, really holding their own versus some really good players. So we're encouraged with both those guys. Like I said, we're encouraged with the direction that things going up front. The level those guys are playing, it's heading in a good direction. So.
Joel.
You guys had Zach and JT out there together a little bit. Is that maybe one of the ways to get defenses to hesitate, maybe not key? I mean, you don't, obviously Anthony was doing that for you, but when both of those guys out there, does it make them maybe hedge a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's important, for us as an offensive staff to have, every week full awareness as we're putting a plan together for how we're going to attack the defense that week, full awareness of sort of who we have up and available on offense that week, right? And JT, obviously a lot has been said and written about, hey, he's on his way back, right? Got his 10 snaps the first week. He's progressing as a snap count type perspective. Zach's been playing really good football too. So, sometimes to get both those guys on the field at the same time may be a little bit of a different look for a defense. Meanwhile, we're just getting 2 good football players out there and letting them do maybe some different things as they go. So yeah, I think it's something that as the year goes, we'll keep an eye on. Some weeks that's a good idea. Some weeks that's not the best idea. It's a little bit opponent dependent sometimes with that stuff. But I think the running back position's another group's doing a nice job, really playing good ball. And as things continue to develop, we'll certainly look for ways to best utilize our guys to go out there and have success and help us win.
A few more. Thomas?
Jim Bob, sticking with the running back room, Zach Moss has forced the 5th most missed tackles among running backs. How essential will yards after contact and holding their own, as you said, be against a top defense like Cleveland?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Cleveland's playing excellent defense. I don't have to pump them up any more than you can already read about out there. They're playing great football. They're making it really tough on offenses to move the ball, score points. They're going to make you really earn every yard, earn every first down, earn every third down conversion, all those good things. To hand the ball to a good player and have him make a few extra yards maybe after that first contact is important. It is important. In this league, we're looking for every single edge, and we're drawing up all these cool plays, but sometimes all these cool plays, you just let Zach Moss make the guy miss, right? Or Jonathan Taylor or any of our guys, right? Those are good football plays too. And Zach's been doing a heck of a job out there. We'll continue to watch him run.
Dominic?
Yeah, Coach, what strides have you seen Josh Downs make game to game? It just seems like he's getting better and catching everything thrown at him and getting open at a pretty high clip. Yeah,
Josh does a nice job. Josh, kind of got thrown into the fire pretty early as a rookie. He's out there for quite a few snaps, almost every game this year. He's putting in a lot of different situations. We ask a lot of him as a route runner. Give him some freedom to operate a little bit on some routes. And for a young guy, you don't always do that. You got to be maybe careful doing that too much. But Josh is certainly into it. When we talk about routes or talk about how we think a DB might play or how what's the best way to get open, Josh is really into those notes and really kind of thinking about it himself. And I think Shane talked about it the other day, like just that touchdown catch he had. That was a couple of pretty intense conversations. Gosh, do you think this or do you think that? All right, how's this corner going to play? How's that corner going to play? I want to try this. I want to try that. He's into that. He wants to get open, right? It's in this league, it's man to man. Can you beat your man a lot of times? And Josh found a way to do that on Sunday, and he's been doing that quite a bit. We gotta keep him coming, but we're super encouraged with Josh and looking for more moving forward.
Last one, Kevin.
Jim Bob, Cleveland specifically, like when you see a defense do what they've done, usually there'd be a bunch of turnovers filled with it. They haven't been necessarily a huge takeaway unit. Does that even tell you more maybe about just kind of their natural ability to just stop you and get you off the field?
Yeah, whatever I'm seeing on tape, I'm seeing good defensive football being played. These guys fly around. They play full speed, high effort group. Really run into the ball, really run into the action. No hesitating has been found on tape. They play real fast. They play real hard. They make it tough on offenses, right? We got a challenge in front of us this week. But that's what we enjoy about the NFL, right? Having a challenge and trying to rise up to the occasion. So yeah, I mean, you can't find a lot of numbers you can criticize on this defense. So I won't be the one to put it out there. These guys are playing great ball. We're excited to compete against them, and this time of the week, trying to put together a good plan. Put together a good plan, give us a chance to win this game, and see if we can't have a chance to compete.